think of the Divine Lord and pray for the welfare of the whole humanity. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avadara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityormamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Sri Ramakrishna, through his spiritual teachings, has made spiritual life easy and comfortable. The point is, you will have to follow the instructions clearly. You must have clear ideas in your mind, and you must be seriously desiring for spiritual life. Then everything becomes very easy. Well, life is an opportunity. Each one is given an opportunity to try, to strive. Try and strive, both. So we are in the life. We want to succeed in the life. For many people, success in the life means success in the materialistic sense. But that is not the real success. Real success is success in the spiritual life. The success you might get in the material world is temporary. Whereas the spiritual success is everlasting. The way to success in any endeavor depends upon our hopefulness. It's a very important topic which I have taken today. We must have reasonable hope that we can succeed in the particular work we have taken up. Well, I am pointing out how hope is a very important factor in our life. What Sri Ramakrishna has said about it. How very clearly Sri Ramakrishna gives the importance about maintaining hope. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to the devotees. He said, it is difficult to lead the life of a householder in a spirit of detachment. Sri Ramakrishna is telling that. And it is true. You can ask anybody living the householder life, you will know the truth. It is extremely difficult to free oneself from attachment. You are deeply involved. Deep involvement brings deep attachment. Deep attachment brings, one time or other, suffering. Anyway, Sri Ramakrishna made this point when one of the devotees asked him, in a way answered Sri Ramakrishna. He said, well, we follow the example of King Janaka. Janaka, a very famous king of the time, of Ramayana period, the father of Janaki. He was a very good king, a king of achievement and success in life. He was a householder. But he lived the life of detachment. So we shall follow him. It is very easy to say. But Sri Ramakrishna told him, well, you are telling you can follow Janaka? Can one be like King Janaka by merely wishing it? How many austerities King Janaka practiced in order to acquire divine knowledge? He practiced the most intense form of asceticism for many years. After he got illumination, he returned to the life of the world. So, don't think that you can simply practice non-attachment, just the desire has come in your mind. You have to practice very hard. Everything is earned by hard effort, hard practice. That is why in spiritual life we always stress upon practice. Every moment of your spiritual life should be engaged in practice. That means every moment of your life you should be conscious of spiritual life. You must be conscious of what you are doing and what you want to achieve. Then a question was asked, Master, is there no hope then for householders? Then Sri Ramakrishna answered positively. He said, certainly there is hope. So all the householders need not be despaired. There is a way. There is hope. And then further Sri Ramakrishna says, they must practice spiritual discipline in solitude for some days. That is, they must go to a retreat center and practice systematic spiritual way of life away from family and family encumbrances. At least one weekend in a month. It's the minimum. Sri Ramakrishna says you should be away from the family, 100 miles away. Like the Sri Ramakrishna tells. So that you can concentrate totally on the spiritual practice. Then, even though a person is a householder, if he practices in that fashion, constantly doing practice, he will acquire knowledge and devotion. Then he is not afraid of anything. Nothing hurts him. He is not bothered even if he lives in this world. There is no more fear. When you practice discipline, you should think, I have no one else in this world. God is my all. You must also pray to God. So these are the words, teachings given by Sri Ramakrishna. The great Lord, God Himself, He is telling how to do that. So, Sri Ramakrishna is giving you hope. That means your life must be based on the hope. If you lose hope, you lose the life. So success depends upon how you sustain your hopeful thinking. So hopeful thinking is very essential. When hopelessness overcomes you, how you should behave? You should drive it away. How? You must think vigorously. Think intensely. I am God's servant. I am His daughter. I am His partner. My Guru and my deity are always holding me by the hand, and they are watching over me. You must think like that. It's a fact also. When you think that they are watching you, you will be certainly more cautious and careful about your spiritual practices. You must think in that way. You must think strongly. This thought will strengthen the mind. Repeat your mantra daily for as many times as you can. And while you make japa, visualize the Master. Swami Chidananda, whose birthday we are celebrating today, he said, what you require is hope, faith, and patience. Gradually you will reach the goal. Swami Vivekananda said that. They are all ideal setters. Each one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna acquired self-knowledge in this very life, not after death. What Shankaracharya says, Jivan Mukti. I must get the spiritual knowledge, spiritual illumination. I must see that spiritual light in this very life. Before the soul leaves this body, I must be definite of my nature. Now, coming to the topic, the main topic of today is hope. Always cherish hope in your heart. Hope, hope, hope. They take the analogy of the war, battle. In a war or a battle, success depends on the morale of the people in the army. It's very important. So, they must have intense and genuine feeling that their cause is right, and their commander-in-chief must be able to inspire in them the confidence that they can succeed. Otherwise, simply with mercenary soldiers, success will not come. Number is not the important factor there. How you maintain your hope and courage, that is most important in the battlefield. So, in a war, we find that there is a great deal of propaganda by both sides to break down the morale of the people of the opposite side. It happened, to give an example, when the war broke out between East Bengal, what we call now Bangladesh, is called East Pakistan, and the Pakistan. But then Indian army came to the rescue of the people in East Bengal, and Pakistan had huge army, huge numerically. But then their morale was broken. Thousands and thousands of soldiers surrendered, not fighting, because their morale was destroyed. Because they were frightened when they heard that Indian army has come, we are finished. Why should we fight? What is the use of fight? What is this, all these things? So, if the morale of the people is broken, half the battle is won. With low morale, people won't be able to fight for long. But when the soldiers are convinced, when they feel intensely that their cause is right, they will have grim determination to fight to the end. They will not mind one or two defeats in the battle. Ultimately, they will win the war. One may lose many battles, but one may succeed ultimately. What is the secret behind that? Hope is the sustaining power for achieving success. I will give another example. The famous battlefield of Kurukshetra. Probably those who have gone to India, they might have seen there's a station near Delhi, Kurukshetra. Even now, the whole area looks like a desert. That was the battlefield during Mahabharata period. The lessons and teachings that come out of that war are the message of Bhagavad Gita. You know, one of the Pandavas, the hero, Arjun, he was a mighty warrior. Nobody could excel him. His guru himself certified that Arjun would not be defeated by anyone in this universe. And he had won many battles previously. So, one need not doubt about that. That Arjun came to the battlefield as chief of staff of the Pandava army. The war was going to start between Pandavas and Kauravas. Kauravas had very big army compared to the army of the Pandavas. Now Arjun came to the arena and stood at a point from which he could see both his and opposite army. He just surveyed the whole thing by a glance. When he was looking in this fashion, all of a sudden, some kind of philosophy grabbed his mind. He came to the consciousness. He began to feel that war was cruel, war was evil. So he began to talk philosophically. When he was talking in that way, he was simply covering up his faint-heartedness. What he said was good from one standpoint. He thought, in this battle, our own people are fighting on both sides, and there will be a great deal of bloodshed. What's the use of this bloodshed? Fortunately for Arjun, Lord Krishna was his charioteer. The Lord of the universe was his charioteer, his guide, his closest friend. Arjun chose Krishna. He had tremendous faith and confidence in Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna was a charioteer and guide of Arjun, who is also the charioteer of our life. We are all like Arjun. Shri Krishna could easily see through the whole situation. And what did he say to Arjun? Look, give up this faint-heartedness. It doesn't befit you. Get up and fight out the battle. He actually ordered him to do though. But sometimes when our courage gives way, with a little sympathy, we begin to feel much more diffident or unwilling. Arjun began to say, it is wrong. I see clearly that it is wrong, and therefore my limbs are shivering, my body is shaking, my tongue is parched, my head is reeling. Then Shri Krishna scolded him severely. You should be ashamed. You have won so many battles and now you come here and say, I will not fight. Then came the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, which you can read. It runs through 18 chapters. Arjun found out his mistake, and towards the end he said, O Lord, I will do whatever you have said. As a result of Sri Krishna's shock treatment and sympathy and reasonable persuasion, Arjun fought finally and won the battle. So what did Krishna do? He kindled hope in Arjun, which he had lost, reawakening the hope. Hope is very important factor. Be very clear about that point. Never at any moment lose hope. That's the point. If this be true in the regular battle of war, it is true in the battle of our own life and in our individual battles in life. In every home, almost every home, there is everyday battle going on in some way or other. Anyhow, we should know how to keep up the morale in our life. There are many instances of successful persons, rich persons, who lost heart and therefore became poor. Sometimes there is trouble inside, sometimes there is domestic trouble. One may have money, but he doesn't know how to handle it because he cannot think reasonably. He is in a depressed condition of mind. Once there was a person, probably he was fortunate enough, whatever the work he would undertake, he would get success. And he was prospering very well, and he was very optimistic. in doing things. But what happened? At one point of time, he did not meet with success. It was a failure. Then his very close friends made a comment, well, this failure is greater than your previous successes, whatever you had previously. That means his success was very great, no doubt, but his failure was even greater. Because he never experienced failure in his lifetime up to that point. So suddenly he is tasting the bitterness of the failure. So naturally it had reaction. The reaction was he got terribly depressed. You know what happens afterwards. Simply went and lay down on the bed as if dead. He's not dead, as if. He did not go to psychoanalyst to lie on a couch and speak out the things in his subconscious mind. He did not do that. He was literally in bed. Then after some time, he went to a doctor who was more a psychologist than a doctor. Nobody knows whether he gave medicine or just something that looked like medicine, so that the patient might feel he was taking medicine. But every day when the patient came to him, the doctor would encourage him. He would always say, oh, you have been successful so many times. What does it matter if this time there was some failure? Why are you bothered about that? You had so many times success. Every day he was cheering him up in a positive way, more vigorously, and showing total sympathy. That got him back his faith and confidence. Well, what my doctor is telling is true. How many times I have succeeded? Just for one failure I have become depressed? Nonsense. His morale returned and he became hopeful. Once the hope entered into his heart, he met with success. There's another story, because I don't go to the details, just a few lines I will. See, in our Hindu literature, there is a story of Saptarshis, 7 rishis, who are endowed with the knowledge of Brahman. They say they are eternal. That means they live as long as the universe lasts. When the universe is dissolved, sometimes it has to dissolve, so that new creation will come, fresh everything, fresh green. So, when the next creation comes, next set of Saptarshis and hierarchy, they will come. Next government will come to govern the universe. Who is Brahma, who is Vishnu, who is Maheshwara, etc. All the gods and goddesses looking after various aspects, everything. The whole hierarchy comes into play when the new creation starts. Now I am speaking about the Saptarshis. One of the Saptarshis was called Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra means friend of the universe. Vishwa means universe, Mitra means friend. His name itself suggests he was a great friend of humanity. It is true. Before he became Maharshi, he was a king. He had all the qualities of the king. Very robust, optimistic, strong, vigorous, determined, unyielding, steel. All these sterling qualities he manifested. Ideal king he was. Of course, then he came to know when he encountered with Maharshi in the forest. He was amazed by the spiritual power of the Maharshi, and then he discarded himself. Chudram hridaya daurbalyam tekto tishta parantapa. Digbalam kshatriya balam. Brahma tejo balam. Balam. Like that he said. It's a very forceful word in Sanskrit. What is this power of the king to use as? Fire upon it. The real power is the power of the spirituality. He declares. So I must become Maharshi like him. He made a resolve. That was not ordinary resolve. To become a Maharshi, how much you have to struggle, how much you have to purify your heart, how much you have to prepare yourself, your body, your mind, your senses, your everything should cooperate with you. He was ready for that. So he began to undertake disciplines and he practiced spiritual austerities. They say, east, west, north, south, 4 quarters. Every time he would go 1 quarter. First he went to east, then he went to north, then he went to south, then he went to west, like that. He covered all the 4 quarters. Why he had to cover all the 4 quarters? Because in every time he would meet with failure. Why failure? Because temptations. Sometimes some people would come crying for help. He was so kind and broad-hearted, he would extend his spiritual power. By spiritual power, he would help that person who wanted help. By that way, his spiritual power was getting destroyed. Then what is this I am doing? I have not become Maharshi. Again he started. Again he met with blow. Another temptation. Another temptation. But he never yielded to temptation. The more he was tempted, the more he became determined. Finally he succeeded. He became Maharshi. He became. All that happened because he never lost hope. Please note that point. He never lost hope. Even with all sorts of failures. He was never shaken about his ideal to be achieved. That's the lesson we should learn. You are coming to spiritual life with weak heart, with weak body, with weak mind. Everything about you is weak, and you want to live a spiritual life and you want to become a saint. Saint. Build up your life properly. Be strong. Strong, stronger, strongest. Who is called strongest? Who is spiritual is called strongest. You become like that. Then experience, illumination, seeing God, talking with God, everything will come. Not till then. So that means, till you get illumination, you should not lose your hope. Note that point. Till illumination. You may be very close to God. It doesn't mean that you have realized Him. That means your hope must be still kept up. Your morale must be very high. The more you are near to God, the more strong your morale should be. Your strength is measured in that way. If this be true in ordinary worldly life, it is much more true in spiritual life. Because in spiritual life, we deal mainly with the mind, not with external worldly things. You have to deal with the mind. It's not ordinary. Mind is subtle. It plays many willy tricks. Spiritual life becomes much more difficult unless we can keep up our morale, unless we can keep up our hope, our courage, our strength. The important thing is to know how to do that. Swami Vivekananda, how much he has said. I am just taking the relevant quotation from him. He said, if you have faith in all the 330 millions of your mythological gods and have no faith in yourself, there is no salvation for you. See how powerful Swami's words. Even rationally, this is so true. If you don't have the faith that God will listen to your prayer or that God will answer your prayer, you can't pray for a long time. If you pray half-heartedly, you will soon give up praying. If you undertake spiritual practice, but for one reason or another, you have no reasonable faith or hope, you cannot continue. So reasonable faith and hope are important in whatever life you are leading, whether worldly life or spiritual life. If it is important in worldly life, it is much more important in spiritual life. That's a point you should note. In spiritual life, you are your own instrument. You must deal directly with that instrument. When you do spiritual practice, when you try to meditate, you direct yourself. To a certain extent, that power of direction is within us. We are the instrument, though not yet in the higher spiritual sense. We feel that we work. We think that we do. So we must be able to direct ourselves. By doing that way, gradually, spiritual confidence begins to come. As confidence comes, we think we shall be able to succeed. We get some symptoms, some indication that success can be had in that way, by following that path. It is another kind of hopefulness. Always we must be able to keep up hopefulness or try to keep it up. Otherwise, all your effort is doomed to fail if you don't pay attention to hopefulness. Now, how do we keep up the willingness to do spiritual practice? Here also, faith in oneself is necessary. When we find through discrimination that certain things are good for us, we must at least be steady in following those into practice. It is extremely necessary to be steady in our pursuit. Real faith in oneself is not what is called auto-suggestion or positive thinking or new thought or Christian Science and so on. It is true that what you think you become, but the people following these symptoms, topic in the next Tuesday class also, there are many important points to note. Then you will see how true to maintain and sustain, cherish hope in your life. Hope is the key to success. Well, I will read a few lines in Gospel, then we conclude. Page 579, chapter 30th. It doesn't matter what kind of action you are engaged in, you can be united with God through any action, provided that performing it you give up all desire for its result. There is the other path, Mano Yoga. A yogi practicing this discipline does not show any outward sign. He is inwardly united with God. Take Jadabharata and Shukadeva, for instance. There are many other yogis of this class, but these two are well known. They shave neither hair nor beard. All actions drop away. When a man reaches the stage of the Paramahamsa, he always remembers the ideal and meditates on it. He is always united with God in his mind. If he ever performs an action, it is to teach men. A man may be united with God either through action or through inwardness of thought, but he can know everything through bhakti. Through bhakti, one spontaneously experiences kumbhaka. The nerve currents, everything, calm down when the mind is concentrated. Again, the mind is concentrated when the nerve currents and breathing calm down. Then the buddhi, the discriminating power, becomes steady. The man who achieves this state is not himself aware of it. One can attain everything through bhakti yoga. I wept before the mother and prayed, "O mother, please tell me, please reveal to me what the yogis have realized through yoga and jnanis through discrimination." And the mother has revealed everything to me. She reveals everything if the devotee cries to her with a yearning heart. She has shown me everything that is in the Vedas, the Vedanta, the Puranas and the Tantra. We shall stop here. Any question to ask? Any points to be clarified? Never get into a state of hopelessness. Maintain hopefulness all the time. Even in the sleep, you must be dreaming about hopefulness. That's what I wanted to stress. That's the important message which Sri Ramakrishna has given. So, God is our hope. So when you think God is your hope, then you will be always secured. Always you will be secured. See, so many things happen on account of our actions, on account of our thinking. So, whatever you do consciously, they all get into mind. So they come up. So mental reactions. So whatever you feel in your mind, immediately you should not jump into conclusion and take steps. You have to wait and you have to analyze yourself. What is it? Why it is happening that way? Why I am pulled by jealousy? Why when I see people I hate them? Why? Why it happens? So you have to start rethinking, and you must introduce ideas into your mind in order to encounter whatever things are there coming against you. And There it's important to have a clear understanding, because you have to deal with the function of the mind. So you need guidance, and you need to know spiritual ideas so that you can encounter the things that come up in the mind on account of some factors which you may not be aware of. See, Arjun was lodged in faint-heartedness. He himself was not aware of it. Suddenly it came. How it came, when it came, why it came, nobody can answer that question. But it came. It's good it came, because it paved the way to yoga. Because he was in a state of utter helplessness and hopelessness, Arjun got the message of yoga. So then Krishna began to analyze everything to him. What is Jnana Yoga? What is Bhakti Yoga? What is this? What is that? Everything he explained, and what is the meaning of duty? How you have to perform your duty. Unless you perform your duty, you can't purify yourself. Simply telling I am pure will not make you pure. You have to adapt yourself positively, do certain things which make you poor, which make you pure. That's important. That's what Shri Krishna says. Your immediate duty is you have to fight the evil. In the same way, in our mind, there are so many evils are there. Bad thoughts come, and revengeful thoughts come. Hatred, ideas of hatred and jealousy, they come. All these things, they're all staying there. As long as you are running after them, they all behave like your best friends. But when you begin to encounter, then you feel how they are about to kill you. So that means how much you have to prepare yourself to deal with the mind. So Shri Krishna is telling, you have to take stern action to destroy them. That's what he told Arjun. Fight here. Why? These are all wicked people. They are torturing the people, and they don't want anybody to prosper. They are too selfish. It is true. You can read Mahabharata, you will find how each one was very emphatic about his personal ego. His ego was more important than anything else. Duryodhana was the personification of wickedness, personification of ego, boastfulness. He thought nobody in the universe can do anything to him. He was too proud of his strength. He even went to the extent of binding Lord Krishna. And he could not bind because he found everybody was looking like Krishna. So whom to bind? But in that fashion he got the Vishwarupa of Darshan, Vishwarupa Darshan, because he saw everybody as Krishna. But he was foolish, he was ignorant, he was stupid, so he could not have the beauty of that vision. Whereas Arjun had Vishwarupa Darshan, Arjun too had. Lord Krishna began to tell, what are you talking? You fellow, carry on your duty. Bhavasavya sacha nimitta matram. You are just an instrument. Do thy duty. That's all you have to do. You're not supposed to talk or think anything else. Everything is done. Do you know? Then he opened up. He showed how all the kings are being killed, how they are all going into the mouth of the death. Everybody is going, the whole universe was revolving. The whole show was shown to him. He was terrified. Oh Krishna, please take back your vision. I am frightened. Even before you kill them, I have killed them already. You rascal, you are telling me, you are the doer. The doer, the real doer is the Lord himself, not you. Then it opened up his wisdom. Then he became intelligent and he said, well, I have surrendered to you. I just follow what you say. Then he started the war. Got success. Like that you have to wage the war in your mind against all the evil tendencies, evil propensities. That's the way. Spiritual life means fighting the evil. We shall stop. Evening, after the arati at 6 o'clock. You have to attend these programs, what we announce. As far as you are concerned, that is a spiritual practice. You can't do these things in your home. So many pulls will be there in the home. You can't even sleep in the home. What to speak of spiritual practice? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, down deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue. The playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, or my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.